Hello, I'm Carl Brown. Welcome to Growing Pains, taking your business to the next level. Today we are focusing on marketing and branding. A strong brand is invaluable as the battle for customers intensifies day to day. It is important to spend time researching, defining, and building your brand. After all, your brand is a source of a promise to your customer. My guest today is Jeff McFarland, CEO of the McFarland Group. Welcome, Jeff, and thank you for joining us on Growing Pains.
Glad to be here, Carl.
Wonderful. Jeff, I know you are very passionate about branding and marketing, so please tell us a little bit about your company, the McFarland Group, and what branding is.
Sure, Carl. I spent about 20 years in corporate America working with Verizon and other corporations. Actually, I'm the one that created the Verizon name and the brand. So when I left Verizon, I wanted to start my own firm so I could help smaller companies and small businesses, minority businesses, so that they would have the proper understanding of branding and marketing.
So that, to me, like the intro said, is invaluable to a small business. To have that level of expertise working with a small business, Verizon, that is a household name and they're a household product. So to have that go from corporate America to a small business is just, like they said, invaluable. So what is branding?
Branding is, like you said in the intro, branding is about a promise that you make to the customer. And so often, small businesses and minority businesses don't spend the proper amount of time to build a brand. A lot of folks think that you can just do marketing, and often people see Super Bowl commercials and say, I need to do some marketing or advertising like that. But you've got to start with a brand, and the brand is all about that promise of whatever it is that you offer to a consumer and what that consumer will get out of your product.
So as a consultant to the Center for Minority Business Development, you're working with our accelerator participants. What are some of the things or exercises that you run them through on their whole branding effort?
Good questions, and I think some of the students in your program have some remarkable opportunities based on what they do in business. But what happens is, especially in the construction industry, a lot of folks don't have brands.
Right.
All right. So it's not really known what they do, what they stand for, and if I do business with company A versus company B or C, what will be the difference to me, the consumer? So I'm working with a lot of the students in the program to actually develop their brand presence, the promise, and what their promise is to the folks that they do business with. Once you develop a brand of what your company stands for, then you can begin to market your products and capabilities.
Okay, now let's go through the whole exercise. Start with the logo. I know you spend a lot of time talking to folks about the logo. Why is that important?
Well, the logo represents your face to the world. So you've got to look at typography. You've got to look at the name in your logo. What does it stand for? So an example, a lot of people don't know that the name Verizon stands from Veritas, which means a company you can trust, truth and honesty. And Iazon, a new company that will bring you new products and services. So I'm working with a lot of the AP students to make sure that when they brand their company, that there's something in that name and it has some meaning. That you just don't pick letters or a name, but you've got to develop what that meaning is and articulate it. An example, in the car industry, a lot of those names start and have no meaning, but because of the promise, they become household names. An example would be the Lexus.
Okay.
What was a Lexus before it was created? It was nothing.
Right.
All right. But now it's one of the best quality cars out there. And in reality, it's a Toyota.
Right.
But Toyota stands for quality also. So with the AP students, we want to make sure that when they brand their companies, they look at what is the purpose of that brand and why. But we also look at color. A lot of folks don't understand the importance of color. I'll give you another example in the food industry, fast food. Okay. If you look at most fast food companies, McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, they use the color red because red invokes energy and excitement in people, and it actually helps you to get hungry and want to eat. So that's why they use that. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, you all see the color red. So you've got to be very mindful of what colors you're using with your brand.
That's wonderful. So you go through that exercise with them on color and it. Do you guide them through that? Because I know sometimes people will say, well, my favorite color is purple, and they want purple and everything, but it doesn't mean anything when it translates into a brand.
Well, I first tell all of my clients that we've got to be strategic. It's not about you, it's about the customer. It's about who your target market is and what excites them. All right, so my favorite color may be blue. All right, but if I'm pushing flowers, that's not a color I'd probably use. All right.
Okay.
So we've got to be strategic. You've got to understand who your market set is, your primary and secondary customer, and you've got to find out that niche market for you, not your competitors, and then you approach it that way.
Okay. So when you're working with them on their, say, business card, what steps do you run them through on that?
Well, in business cards, it's probably the least important thing from a branding aspect.
Okay.
You've got to get the name straight. It's got to have meaning. It's something that's legal. You've got to make sure that when you get to the business card that you're communicating the proper elements.
Okay.
First thing is a lot of folks don't realize that a business card and stationery are considered a legal document.
Okay.
So therefore, you put your brand on it, but you've got to have your legal address. All right. It should not be a post office box. It's got to have your legal company name that's filed with the state. And then there's certain things that I try to teach my folks and clients that you take advantage of it. Business card is two-sided. 75% of all business cards use one side.
Right.
The back side is blank. But it's like owning a building that's 10 stories, but you're only going to use 5 of them. You know, you wouldn't do that. It's not good business sense.
Right.
So there's an opportunity to use the backside for marketing messages. You should always have a website, contact information, and maybe even list your capabilities.
Yeah, recently I got a business card from a lady that didn't even have her name on it. Had company name, phone number, website, but did not have her name on it.
And that's a big mistake. I don't know why somebody would do that, because that's a waste. If you know the name of the company, but you don't know who to contact, you've kind of missed an opportunity.
Right. So when you work with them on their capability statements, what do you talk to them about when you're doing that?
Well, the important thing about a capability statement is to make sure that a potential client knows exactly what you do. So for the CAPE statement, we want to put all the government stuff, you know, your NIAC codes, your CAGE code, Dun and Bradstreet codes, all of that. But you've got to explain in this 1 or 2 page document, front and back, exactly what your company does and what you can do for a potential client.
Okay. So let's go back to, because a lot of people think marketing is branding, and they're not. What is, you know, and I hate to be redundant, but I like to get people to understand that there's a big difference between the two. Can you simplify it for us then?
Yeah, think of a brand. It can be a person, place, or thing, but a brand is that real thing, and you like it because you know what it delivers to you. All right? Marketing is the message that you want to put out. So an example, McDonald's is a brand, and here's why it's a powerful brand. McDonald's is the only brand in the world that when a child is able to speak, they know mommy, daddy, and they know McDonald's. So
That's bad.
any of us that have children, if your child is in the back seat, they can see that Golden Arches a half a mile away, and they say, Mommy, I want to go to McDonald's. McDonald's no longer puts their name on the Golden Arches. If you see their TV commercials, they don't end it with their name. It's just the Golden Arches. That's a brand. Now, when they get into marketing, it's all about who their target market is, all right, which are children and mothers.
Okay.
Okay? So they advertise the Happy Meal and the different burgers so children can get excited, and they market to mothers with the salads, the fruits, the healthy meals, and all that kind of stuff. So that is marketing. That's the message that you're delivering. So that's the difference.
Okay. So as a small business, why is it important to build a brand?
It's very important because, you know, I had the need to look for an attorney. I was talking to some friends about an attorney, and you see all the TV commercials about all the attorneys doing daytime television. But the question is, when you actually have that need, what's going to come top of mind?
Right.
So are you going to remember something that you saw on television and try to figure out that phone number, or you're going to go to the yellow pages, or you're going to ask a friend? Some people do all three, but the one that you saw on television that is redundant and comes top of mind may get a chance.
Okay. So that's why it's important to build that brand.
It's very important. It's all about awareness.
So,
if people don't know you exist, you miss the opportunity.
So it's like almost subliminal.
Yes, it is. Yep.
That's the way you want to get it.
You want to get it. You want your name to be a household name in that category.
So that when a person thinks about it, they say, well, I need a plumber, they think of me automatically because I've been putting that message out there. And when we come back, we're about to go to break. When we come back, let's talk a little bit about how the impact of social media on branding and marketing and how that affects the consumer and the business owner.
Great.
Stay tuned for more Growing Pains when we return.
It gives you that opportunity to put a message out to a vast number of people.
Prince George's Community College isn't just a place that offers more than 200 academic, workforce development, and continuing education programs. It's the first step toward the career of your dreams. It's a community of people who want you to succeed. It's where degrees are earned and potential is realized. Apply and register today. Call 301-336-6000. Prince George's Community College, transforming lives.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. As a parent, you want to make sure that your child knows how to deal with bullying when they see it happening. And chances are they want to help, but they don't really know how. Teach them that the best thing to do is calmly walk away, find a teacher or other adult, and speak up. And do your part. Be that adult they can talk to and trust will listen. Join me to help stop bullying. Go to stopbullying.gov to find out more.
Body language. Without saying a word, it can tell you so much. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time. Time to call 911 immediately. The sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Learn the body language, the sudden signs, and spot a stroke fast.
Thanks for calling the GED Pep Talk Center. Jerry Stiller speaking. Your level 7 in-your-face pep talk.
I can keep pushing you. Believe me, I'm good at it. But at some point, you're gonna need to start pushing yourself.
See, once you've got your GED diploma, you'll feel so good about yourself.
You tell them. You can't change your past, but you can definitely change your future.
That makes me so happy, I'm ready to bust out a dance.
Mr. Trejo, can I transfer this guy to you? My gentle technique isn't really working. You need something a little more
Persuasive.
Yes.
You listen, and you listen good.
Hey, where's my sandwich? Terry? Terry!
Take it from me, the King DMC. It's a real cool thing to get your GED.
Get that diploma!
Now hold on and we'll find you free GED classes. Capiche?
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Welcome back to Growing Pains as we continue our discussion of marketing and branding with Jeff McFarland of the McFarland Group. Jeff, before we went to break, we were just starting to talk about social media. So can you talk about social media as it relates to branding?
You know, Carl, social media is real big, especially for small businesses, because it gives you that opportunity to put a message out to a vast number of people in a very quick time, like instant. So you've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, you've got Twitter, but you can put any message you want and you can change that message just like that.
So let's talk about what are some of the most popular sites that a business owner can then go on and kind of advertise, if you will?
Well, you know, it depends on how we use the word advertise. Advertising is really about putting a message out.
Or have a presence.
Right, have a presence. But you can do it on all that I mentioned, be it Facebook, be it Twitter, Instagram. They've got 4 or 5 new ones that I'm not even associated with yet. But I've got a 23-year-old daughter that's in marketing, and she tells me what's coming out and what's going on. The new thing is blogs, where you've got somebody that writes a blog and they talk about your product or your company, and it goes out to millions of folks. So that's a new way of doing marketing, low cost or almost no cost, but nothing's no cost. But it's very quick, it's instant, and you can change and put out a message whenever you like.
You know, I was thinking about that blogging aspect of it, and I said, no one is blogging about being an electrician or being a plumber. And if you're the one that is out there leading the charge, blogging about, you know, just redundant plumbing things, but it affects every homeowner that I know. And even in the commercial space, you have sinks that back up and plumbing needs in the commercial environment. If you were the one doing that, you would then be the king of the customers.
Well, absolutely. And that's the great thing about marketing. Whenever there's something nobody's doing, that's an opportunity. There are blog sites out here. If you own a Mustang, if you own a Harley Davidson, there are blog groups so that you can talk to other folks about, well, how do I fix this on my motorcycle, or my car has this carburetor problem. So if there are electrical needs and there's no bloggers out, I haven't checked, but that would be a good opportunity. Be it for other electricians or people that need electrical work done. And the folks that sponsor those blog sites become top of mind companies.
Exactly, exactly. Now, what are some of the pitfalls, if you will, that companies fall into when they're talking about branding their company? What are some of the things, the faux pas that you've seen that companies shouldn't do?
What I find, Carl, is that a lot of companies want to brand their company and they don't know how to do it right. So I'll give an example. I kind of coach people. You don't necessarily want to name your company after you, your name. Okay. Now, I've done it, the McFarland Group, but I know what I'm going to do and not going to do with my company. But some companies, be it construction companies or be it a doctor's office, they're very famous for that. They name the company after their name, and sooner or later, you may want to sell that company, but you never want to sell your name. All right? So you've got to be very aware of what you brand your company, because you never know what's going to happen with that later. Again, your brand is all about the promise that you make with your customer. So you brand it based on that, and it should be something that lasts. I see mistakes where people name or brand their company, and a year later they want to change it because they or a family member doesn't like it. But you invest in that brand, and once you invest, you've got to nurture it.
Yeah, that's critical because, like you said earlier, the business card, the stationery become legal documents, and you invested into that brand with having that name printed on all those documents, your brochure, etc., your website. Now you want to change it?
Well, and the problem is it's an investment. So, you know, the paper goods, that can all be trashed and replaced for a few dollars. But once you put that brand in somebody's name, can you imagine if McDonald's wanted to change his name, all right, to Ronald Johnson? Okay, people would not translate that McDonald's is now Ronald Johnson. All right, so it would be hard for them to change that brand. You see a lot of folks, companies will change maybe the color, typography to update their brand. You know, Wendy's went through a brand transformation by changing the pigtails.
Yes.
But they didn't change the colors, they didn't change the name.
Yeah, every now and then you have to refresh, if you will, but not necessarily wholesale change the brand.
But the refresh has to be for a strategic business reason. Again, a good example of a mistake was Coca-Cola. They refreshed their formula and it almost put them out of business.
Yes, it did.
You've got to do things for strategic reasons. Another thing when it comes to marketing, people just believe that I can do advertising or marketing programs just so I can make people like them. It's not about if somebody likes your campaign. Anytime you do marketing, it should be for a strategic business reason. If it's not solving a business problem, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
So if a small business came to you and said, I want to engage your company to help me do marketing, what kind of exercises do you run them through?
Well, I run them through what is your core business, what are your capabilities, do you know who your customer is? Because we can develop marketing programs, but if we don't know who you're marketing to and why, and if that's the proper person you should be marketing to. So an example, you can have a small telecommunication firm that wants to do marketing. But if you're marketing to the consumer and you're selling PBXs, all right, those are for business customers. So why would you market to a consumer? Okay. So you've got to understand your business strategy, and we try to make sure people stick to that strategy and market to the right folks.
So you actually help them with defining that strategy?
Yes, we help them define what their marketing strategy is, because a lot of folks, they start a business, they get some startup money, they have a trade that they're experts in, and they're very good at it, and they decide they want to work for themselves, but they haven't done the work up front to do a marketing plan, a strategic strategy, and know exactly about how they're going to go about marketing their business.
Okay, so let's talk about that marketing plan. What should go in that marketing plan?
Well, there are a lot of areas, but first, you know, what is the core purpose of your business? What is the mission? What is your vision? Where do you see your company being 3 to 5 years from now? And just kind of knowing how you're going to get there. So there again, telecommunication company, I'll put it in that vein. Are you going to sell the business customers, consumer, or are you going to sell to both? Because you cannot be all things to all people.
Right.
So you've got to have a niche market. You've got to know there's an opportunity in that market and what that opportunity is and how do you get part of that market. And you've also got to know who your competitors are.
Okay.
Because if you don't know who your competitors are, you don't know what opportunity you have to grab some of that marketplace. Everybody can't be number one. Number two and number three are great right now.
That's right.
But if you've got a vision, the vision is how do you become number one or encroach on some of that index that number one has.
So when you're talking to a small business owner and you're really refining their outlook, do you get any pushback on that they're growing too slow or they're growing too fast? Or
a lot of my clients are very thankful that we can bring this knowledge to them. Sometimes there's pushback when you look at changing the direction.
Okay.
But when you can explain to them why this direction is not good for you, they kind of come around and they get it. Most of my clients understand that we're not there to run your business. We really just want to help you be successful. And based on our background and input, the folks on my team, these are things that we think will make you successful and help you succeed. And once you explain it, they usually get it.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about messaging. What does that mean? Because a lot of people hear it or they are getting messages all day and don't understand them.
Well, you know, the new thing in marketing is multicultural marketing. A lot of folks know that the mass market is no longer the mass market. The multicultural market set has kind of overtaken by 52% the mass market.
Okay.
But you've got to be very mindful and very important in business versus the consumer. Who is your audience? So it may depend on what cultural base you're speaking to, African Americans versus the mass market, or Hispanics. People do things different and people spend their money different.
Okay.
Hispanics spend their money on products and goods quite different than African Americans. So you've got to know exactly who you're talking to, and depending on the region, okay, you've got to understand. So if you live in the South and you're an electrician or you're selling other construction goods with hurricanes and tornadoes, their needs may be greater. So those consumers may really look for those kind of products and services. Here in the Mid-Atlantic area, maybe it's not as much, but upper Northeastern, where you have the storms in Boston, they may be looking for those services. So you've got to understand exactly who you're communicating with, and that helps you to develop the messaging.
Okay. What about consistency in your messaging?
You always have to be consistent, because consumer cannot be confused that I heard it this way in the newspaper last week and it's a different message this way. Even if you've got a new offer, you can only run one offer at a time, because the customer's got to see it over and over and over again. You know, we have a rule in advertising that most messaging should be simple enough for a 7th grader to get it. Right? And that's what you do. And it also is known that you have to see messaging 5 to 7 times before it grasps with a customer. A lot of times folks, small businesses, like to do direct mail marketing. But when you send out direct mail, people, and you know how it is, you get a bunch of mail at home, you see something you're interested in, but you don't go to the phone and call that 800 number right away. You sit it to the side. All right? Bed Bath & Beyond is great for that. They send you that blue postcard every 2 to 3 weeks. All right? It says 20% off on one product. Well, that's why they send you so many. That's part of their marketing platform. We know that you want to get 20% off on more than one item. So if we send it every 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to hold it anyway. By the time you come in, you'll have 4 or 5 of them.
And they let you use them.
Yes,
that's
because
the beauty of it.
The more you can use it, the more you buy.
That's
and
right.
That's part of their platform.
That's right. Well, Jeff, this time is run by so quickly. We're about to end, but I want you to leave some pearls of wisdom for our small business audience, and just, you know, on branding and marketing.
I just say that any business you have, build it as a brand first, protect and nurture that brand. If you don't have a brand, you don't have a company to market.
Okay. Well, this has been enlightening on branding and marketing. We now know the difference between the two, and I can't, you know, say enough about you being on the show. I want to thank you for being on the show.
I've enjoyed it.
It's been great. Thank you for joining us today. We will see you next time as we continue to help you take your business to the next level. To find out more information about the CMBD Accelerator Program, call us at 301-583-5205 or visit our website at www.cmbd.biz.